Welcome to the kitchen island.
All right, let's begin. Okay, is this what I'm supposed to be doing?
I think you only needed to punch it once.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah, it says. Okay, so today we are making soft pretzels. We found a recipe from the Spruce Eats. I assume we'll put the
Link
in
in
bio.
description.
Link in description. Not bio.
Link in bio.
Okay. Okay, yeah. Punch down the dough in the bowl. Turn the ball of dough onto a cutting board and let's cut it. Now, so we're making soft pretzels, but the important question, not the food. What are we talking about today? What cinematic experience are we talking about today?
Well, the cinematic experiences of 2012 and 2014. The Amazing Spider-Man movies, starring Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone. Directed by Mark Webb as well. He deserves credit. Webb. The perfect guy to direct Spider-Man movies.
So, first of all, we're supposed to cut this into 10 equal pieces.
Are you doing like a pizza pie?
I was going to. I mean, that creates 8, you know?
Well, I mean, you can do it through 10. That's possible.
Okay, so like...
Well, because if you do that, it's gonna be even. You have to do.
You do it.
One
you
across.
Can start cutting. And I'll continue talking about the movies. So, the Amazing Spider-Man movies. Now, my opinion, which I believe you share, which a lot of people do not share, is that Andrew Garfield is my favorite Spider-Man.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And I love these movies. So, the very first one, The Amazing Spider-Man. First of all, I guess we've already been talking. It's not really first of all. The first thing when we were watching this was about the music, which I assume we're going to talk about a lot. Music in the first one is by James Horner, which I am not as familiar with his work. I know something else by James Horner.
I mean, I probably know it, but like right now I can't think of something else done by James
That being said, his theme for Spider-Man in the first one, very easily distinguishable, and I enjoy it.
Yeah, I think he did good on the first one, especially there's another scene where I specifically want to bring up soundtrack. I think he did very good. But for me personally, the soundtrack of the second one stands out more. I mean, like, I only have one of them on like my phone in iTunes, and it's the second one.
The second one. I don't know if we care about like plot-wise chronology, but if you're watching this, you're probably aware, maybe, that the second one was done by Hans Zimmer, which, as we all know,
Junkie XL?
The Junkie XL is one of the so Hans Zimmer and the Magnificent Six, and Junkie XL is one of the Magnificent Six. Yeah, and as every human on the planet knows, Hans Zimmer's kind of goated, and he understood the assignment for Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Kind of the modern day Mozart, Beethoven kind of guy.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, so the first Amazing Spider-Man movie, you open up, you got the theme that we're talking about, which I think is good. You do have a bit of origin story, right, with Peter, the hide and seek. Who is he playing hide and seek with?
We don't know, because
Not
we found
clear.
out in the second one, his dad is like
down in the office.
Down in the office doing something else. So, I mean, maybe
possibly
he was playing like by himself.
That's sad.
Yeah, that is sad. But Peter's life is sad.
Yeah, no, whether you watch these two Spider-Man movies or any Spider-Man movies, it's just like Peter's life kind of sucks. Yeah. That's just a fact of the matter. Now, also, I love Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man, but from the get-go in Amazing Spider-Man 2, Sally Field as Aunt May, she
goated.
She is Aunt May.
No, really, like, the best Aunt May. Like, the Raimi trilogy and, like, MCU Aunt May's, not bad. Not bad at all. Nothing against them, but, like, Sally Field Aunt May, simply, like...
Yeah, that was good on casting director. And also, obviously you get this more in Amazing Spider-Man 1 rather than 2, because Uncle Ben is dead by the second one.
But, like, great Uncle Ben, because he he is very good. He is like stern and like, like Peter, you need to like, like you forgot your aunt, like go and apologize. But he's also like a little like, a little like silly kind of dad. Like, oh, he's got you on his computer. Yeah. I'm his probation officer. Like.
But the acting, the playing off between Sally Field and Martin Sheen as Uncle May and Aunt Ben. It's like they're married.
Their bickering is pretty good.
Like the meatloaf thing? Like, how many meatloafs
have I made for you? You could have told me that 37 years ago.
Okay.
Oh, also, Emma Stone, Gwen Stacy. Another hit straight out of the park.
Truly, the casting was phenomenal for The Amazing Spider-Man. Okay, we have the dough into 10 pieces, and now we are just rolling them out, right?
Rolling them out?
We need decent sized pieces of dough.
Oh, shit, preheat the oven.
Okay, preheating oven to 450 Fahrenheit, because we're not weird. And by that, I mean we're American. You can't tell.
Okay, so
unlike Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, unlike Andrew Garfield. So like I'm just gonna start like rolling.
Yeah, and I guess we can both be rolling at the same time.
36 inches. That's 3 feet.
Yeah, we'll make do.
Because I know like it is. The skinnier they are, the better. Like the big fat ones will end up just being like bread more than anything else. Yeah. So Emma Stone, Gwen Stacy, the casting was crazy good for these movies, and we'll get into the casting for the second one when we get into that. But like
kind of in the same vein as how well Sally Field and Martin Sheen like played off each other. Obviously, Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone played off each other very well.
Well, no, crazy chemistry. Also, did you have?
I don't remember what I was gonna say. Go for it.
Okay, but just I feel like we haven't talked enough about like Andrew Garfield himself. The main character. He is good in the role. I know people have said that like they don't buy him as Peter Parker. I mean, he's a little bit like not nerdy enough, and I get that. But I think he's endearing, and it works for me.
One of my in both Amazing Spider-Man and Amazing Spider-Man 2. There's so many little just like mannerisms or like just little
the way he gets off the counter in the beginning of the first one is like very like
it's very teenage boy or like
when he gets the webbing right and then that little thing he does
he's
like
he wasn't just like memorizing the script acting. He had
his mannerisms are good.
No, he was. So
I mean, he's not a dweeb, especially
like
Tobey Maguire's.
Toby's a dweeb. Yeah.
But I mean, I think he works for me. I'm not.
And I do think, I mean, he's again because he's not like dweebish. He's very, his outfit, like his layered jackets. He's skateboarding around.
Skateboarding, yeah.
And then of course he's got the cool little photography thing, right? He's got his camera. Whatnot. One thing I did note, especially more in Amazing Spider-Man 1, because they're not actually in school in Amazing Spider-Man 2, of like how kind of stereotypical high school it is. Like Flash is at the beginning, like very stereotypical bully. He's like picking the kid up, shoving his face into food. There's the teenagers making out against the lockers, whatnot, which I thought was just kind of funny.
Yeah. And we see very early on that Peter has like mechanical smarts. Like he helps Ben down in the like basement with like something's wrong with the plumbing, and like Peter, he's like, oh, it's either gonna be this or this. I'll like go to the store and get the parts. And then we see that he's like engineered like a lock.
On his door.
Lock on his door. So obviously, when he like designs the web shooters and everything,
it doesn't come out of nowhere that he knows how to do this stuff.
He clearly has that kind of know-how.
And then also, so he's got that electronic know-how. He also, whenever he sneaks into the little internship thing, and rest in peace, Rodrigo Guevara, who has now missed out on the thing because Peter stole his place. But he's talking about genetics and chemistry and science, and later when he goes to Dr. Connor's house, so he's also got very much that kind of.
He's smart. He is smart.
Peter is very smart.
He's number
second.
2.
Yeah, he's number 2 at Midtown.
Is this
I think they're long enough.
And then
the dough in half and then twist the ends together 2 or 3 times.
Pretzel knot.
Pretzel. We're working with it. Okay. So do we want to go ahead, like, make all these things?
Yeah, and
set
then
them to the side. I also did not get out the baking sheet. Okay. Pause for possibly loud sounds. Cool.
yeah.
Also, I'm going to cut the parchment paper now.
Also, this is just a random little detail, but Peter has a computer in his room, and if you look at his monitor, it seems kind of old. It's just, they're poor.
They're poor. Yeah. Let's see. I wrote down high schoolers suck. Something else. And this is also very, I feel like, old school high school bullies. That Flash is constantly calling Peter Parker. Like, bullies calling the people they're bullying by their last name is so, like, does that really happen? Whatever. And then also, like, the teacher at the end is like, oh, late again, Mr. Parker. I've never known a teacher to actually refer to their students by Mr. or Miss last name. Okay.
So,
of course.
Yeah. And we, like, of all the people there, we get, like, Flash is just, like, being bullied.
You also immediately
like,
get the
and
gist
then
about
when he's bullying that one kid, and, like, Peter's like, I'm not going to take the picture, like, put him down. And then Gwen comes up to,
kind of put Flash in his place.
Put Flash in his place. And Flash looks, like, pretty embarrassed.
Yeah.
Like,
and something, as the plot goes on, there's, like, a little bit more to Flash.
Like, this is skipping ahead slightly, but when Peter is, like, has the basketball, and he's doing all that, and, like, Flash, like, at a certain point, Flash just kind of, like, turns to, like, walk away.
Sorry, I'm trying to make Leslie sound with this paper as possible.
Like, at first he's, just like, give it back, Parker. But then as, like, Peter continues to, like,
mess with him,
like, he just sort of, like, deflates a little bit. I don't know. Like,
there's not, like, an arrogant bully confidence.
So.
We're going to be talking about Flash multiple times. Obviously, this Flash gets a lot less screen time than Tom Holland Flash. But I think more than
I can't even remember, like, Tobey Maguire. Well, no, wait.
He's in the lunch scene. He does the
but, like, I can't hardly picture the actor.
Anyway, about our Spider-Man. So, obviously, plot. So, after Peter ruins the life of Rodrigo Guevara, and then does not follow Gwen's directions to stay with the group.
Yeah. Well, like, Gwen covers for him at, like, to Connors, when Connors asks who he is, and Gwen covers for him, but she's like, hey, you're not supposed to be here, but,
she's
like,
I'm cool with it.
But, like, I have, like, stuff to do, so can you just, like,
do not get me in
trouble?
Yeah.
And then he immediately goes off and does,
Of course, this is all because of the flood we mentioned earlier. He had found his dad's briefcase, and he found, like, the secret file.
The decay rate algorithm,
which is why he started looking into Connors and Oscorp and whatnot. Then he does the absolutely unhinged behavior. Okay, there's one thing, I guess, of pretending to be a different high school student, so you can, like, he talks to Dr. Connors for a second at Oscorp. Then he breaks into a secure area, or enters a secure area. And then, to make matters worse, he goes into the big spider room.
And then touches one of the threads.
Like, that's unhinged behavior, Peter. Yeah, like, you're committing a crime, and also, that's insane. I would not want to be in a room full of big spiders. But I guess that's why I'm not Spider-Man.
Yeah. And then, and they start falling on him, and,
absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
Another one of his little manners, the way he, like, starts to, like, shake whenever the spiders start falling.
And then he just like kind of leaves.
Yeah, he does just kind of. Yeah. Well, he runs into Gwen,
and she's
like, "Give me the badge." Subway. I feel so sorry for him. One of the things, if I'm ever watching a show or movie where the general public is misunderstanding what's going on with the main character, I feel so bad. And so, like, when he's on the subway and things start sticking to him, and he's like, he doesn't know what's going on. I feel incredibly bad.
But
I don't
also,
think we need to make them 36 inches because like they're pretty beefy. And
okay. Yeah, that's gonna fit like 2.
Yeah, I have one other pan if we want to use it.
Well, this was mine. But also this is New York. That's not the weirdest thing they've seen.
That's true. New York subway. With my vast experience on the New York subway, which is
also
none. Yeah.
We're gonna baking soda bathe them before we put them in the oven.
Yes, it's just I was like central area to put them in the Then he goes. Yeah, he's home, and then in the morning you see him like he's breaking things. He's the toothpaste is shooting out, and he's like, "What the heck is going on with me?" Uh-oh. Also about Peter's room, his bedroom. I like the set design, I guess. It has a lot of elements. So first of all, it's very clearly like, oh, Peter does photography things because he's got a bunch of photos and like whatchamacallit? I have it. Polaroid. A bunch of Polaroid photos, a bunch of other photos. A photo of Donald Glover. There's a photo of Donald Glover in his bedroom. So you very clearly like the deal that Peter's a photography guy.
He's got that Einstein poster.
He's got that big Einstein poster.
Because he's a nerd.
And then he also, I can't remember if you see this more clearly in the first one or the second one, but there are photos, like actual photos from real life of Sally Field and Martin Sheen of when they were younger that he like has on there. It looks like a teenage boy's room, basically. Which I enjoy. Also, there's several things in the first one that
come back
in the second one. For example, whenever Peter finds the briefcase and he's going through the
briefcase full of junk.
The briefcase full of junk. He finds there's like the calculator, there's his dad's like Oscorp ID, and there's a little coin.
Yeah, which in the second one are the coins that were hidden in the calculator to get into Roosevelt.
The Roosevelt station. And there's, I can't remember who mentions it. It's not Richard Parker, the guy who says Richard Parker.
I don't know what his job is.
I don't know. He's some important guy in Oscorp.
But he's like Norman Osborn is dying.
Yeah.
Which he dies in the second one.
Retroviral hyperplasia. So there is connections. Whenever this jumping back and forth, crawling back and forth, swinging back and forth. That's more good. Whenever Peter is messing with Flash in the gym, and then he breaks the basketball backboard and whatnot, and it's mentioned that they're not fining the Parkers for it. He has to do community service,
which is Spider-Man. He's gonna be Spider-Man and help his community.
He's gonna help the community.
Also, Peter is just bad at lying. Constantly, he's just but it's like cute and endearing, but it's also like when he runs into Gwen, she's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I work here." Well, no, I was gonna say I work here, but it's obvious that you work here, so you know that I don't work here.
Andrew was so good. Then you have the most iconic scene using Philip Phillips. Not using any Philip Phillips.
It's kind of what's it called? Like, it's not Mandela effect because it's just a misconception. But Philip Phillips is not in the first one, and they do use Philip Phillips in the second one, but that's gone. Home does not play in the Amazing Spider-Man movie,
contrary to popular belief. Anyway, and so after school, he's at this like abandoned dockyard warehouse.
Yeah,
I guess in New York.
In New York, yeah.
And so you get to see him do little spidery things. You see him crawl.
It's his like learning the powers montage.
Yeah, of course, swinging. Of course, he's swinging on chains. Also, whenever he broke into Oscorp and he saw the cable, the super
cable,
bio cable.
And also, at this point, he has talked to Connors and given him the correct decay rate algorithm, right?
Yes.
And so Connors is like, come by the tower, Oscorp Tower, after school one day. So Peter, goes to school, then goes to this dock shipyard warehouse thing, and then goes to Oscorp Tower.
Crazy time management on Peter's part. Yeah. Of course, then after he goes to Dr. Khan to Oscorp, gives him, they have the correct decay rate, the thing works out. And then he has not picked up Aunt May. Responsibilities. Yeah.
That scene's also hard to watch.
It
just
is.
like the way, like Uncle Ben is mad, like rightfully so, because Peter should have picked up Aunt May, and then Aunt May is just, she's like, you don't have to apologize to me, but like,
And so then Peter dips angrily after delivering one of the most iconic multi-platinum lines of "How dare I? How dare you?"
Literally, yes.
With multi-platinum in our household. Breaks the door by accident. Of course, he didn't mean to break the window or the door, but they're poor, so you have to keep that in mind. And then you get the Peter Parker canon event of Uncle Ben dying. Rest in peace.
Because he couldn't pay for his milk.
$2.07. And
he couldn't pay for his milk. And so, but then, that one guy kills Uncle Ben. Peter is sad, but also wants revenge on the guy. So.
Are you getting tired from the rolling?
Just a little bit. And, this one part is, getting thinner, and I'm afraid of it snapping. Anyway, so Uncle Ben dead, but after telling Peter that, if he has, great power, he should do something with that. Yeah.
So then, what happened?
And that's the next day at school.
Oh, right.
It's the next day at school.
Right. And you get some character from Flash. Flash comes to...
but you see him just and Peter seems to not have any friends, but he's just walking through the hallway, and no one's talking to him or anything. But then Flash shows up, and Peter misunderstands his intent, understandably. Yeah. But then Flash is there to give him his condolences.
It's maybe Flash isn't just a stereotypical high school bully. Then you get the actual, Peter's trying to do something. So he apparently you can just walk around New York at night and you'll find some crime. Which he does. And at first he's just going out with his jacket, and then those
guys,
the criminals, I don't know, besides
Mr. Criminal. The criminals, they pursue him
far greater than I think
than
was necessary.
Yeah.
And you get him falling into the luchador thing.
And then being
it's ooh, maybe I should have a mask so people can't see me. And I think his first, iteration where it's just kind of morph suit mask plus sunglasses, that is practical. And that's what a high schooler would have access to.
Mm-hmm. And so he's going around,
and then you see Captain Stacy because you don't see Captain Stacy for a while.
No, the first scene is them hey, there's this guy going around he wears a mask. People are saying he's a vigilante, and then he's no, blah blah, and then the guy drops down and but so Peter, he's going around to find criminals that look like the criminal, to find that one guy who killed his uncle, but that's
all he's doing.
Yeah, and if it's not him, then he just kind of leaves them to the cops.
You see him working on his web shooters, which again he's very smart. He uses the Oscorp stuff.
Oh, that's the oven. And then making and then pretty soon afterwards, he makes his Spider-Man.
He doesn't actually wear the morph suit mask.
And it's a good looking suit.
It is. It's my favorite. So I think I do like the Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit better than the Amazing Spider-Man. But out of all the live action Spider-Man suits, I like the Andrew Garfield ones the best.
Yeah. Because
I don't know, they look realistic, but they still look cool.
And they look like something that like a gymnast and so would wear, the Tobey Maguire one doesn't look like something an athlete would actually wear. And of course the Tom Holland ones, nothing against Tom Holland, but the full CGI suit, it looks bad, and it will only continue to look worse as technology marches on.
Yeah.
So the Andrew Garfield suits look good, and they're my favorite. And then we get the iconic small knives scene. The carjacker.
My weakness.
Small knives.
No, okay, so when he's still in the car with that carjacker, and the carjacker's like, "Are you a cop?"
Cop?
And he's wearing a full mask. Okay, the mask is absolutely covering every inch of his face. But there is a blank expression. You can see.
There is a pause, and you understand what expression he's making, even if you can't see it.
And then, yes, of course, the iconic small knives.
And you see, you kind of get, due to some, like, camera work and stuff, you kind of get, like, he's being silly and goofy. Small knives. And then he's, like, webbing the guy, he's, like, just kind of, like, jumping around and clapping, But then he gets kind of, like, serious. And it's a little, like, it's not friendly neighborhood Spider-Man stuff. It's, kind of, there's an aura of danger. But then the guy isn't the guy who killed his uncle. And then a cop shows up, and he gets all mad that the cop isn't thanking him.
Yeah. And then I guess the next, because before the bridge, the Williamsburg Bridge incident is one of the worst dinner scenes you can ever experience
in cinema.
Because finally, him and Gwen
are they're together now, early stages of dating, sort of thing.
And Gwen's like, "Oh, my mom's making Branzino. I didn't know what Branzino was. I don't blame Peter for maybe not knowing what Branzino is." So I like Gwen. I like Captain Stacy. From the bits that you see of Mrs. Stacy and Gwen's brothers, they're all right. However, the totally unhinged behavior of number one, dinner at 8 p.m. I'm in my pajamas already. Okay?
Yeah, like that is too late.
Yeah. And then, okay, Peter, not really in the Stacy's defense. So when Peter shows up to Gwen's apartment, he comes through the fire escape, which, why? Like, it's like, ooh, he can go up to the fire escape, he's swinging, whatever. How are you going to explain to the Stacys why you are already in their apartment without coming through the front door?
Yeah.
Whatever. But then the wearing a suit to your own home
because these
dinner?
Stacys they're eating just in their apartment at their home, but they're dressed up for it.
Okay, they're all dressed like nicely, not t-shirt jeans. Neither of Gwen's brothers are wearing a suit.
Yeah,
they're like wearing like sweaters or something.
But like
Captain Stacy, is he wearing? I don't know. He's not wearing his like uniform.
Yeah, it's just like why would you do that?
Why are you dressing up to eat dinner in your own home
at 8 p.m.
At 8 p.m.
It's just like genuinely like
unhinged.
Just psychopath behavior
behavior
from the Stacys.
And then of course you have the entire awkward conversation
between
Captain
Peter
Stacy
and Captain Stacy
is talking about how the spider guy's messing with things, and of course Peter is.
He's like, nah, he's like a hero, he's helping people, and Captain Stacy is like, no, he's a vigilante, he's not part of the law, and he's doing this, and he's messing with, our stuff. So it's an argument, and it's hard to watch. And then Peter and Gwen go out to the balcony.
Yeah, Gwen, like, thankfully, she's like, okay, let's get some beer, let's go. Then so they're out on the rooftop. He doesn't straight up tell her he's Spider-Man, but he
he really tries, and then he just does a little web slinging.
Yeah.
And
so now Gwen knows, which good on this Spider-Man, good on Peter for not falling into the I can't tell my significant other that I'm a superhero.
He tells the girl he's been dating for like a week.
Oh my gosh, I'm making a mess.
But I mean it doesn't turn out fine. But like Gwen is very competent.
It's just not. Yeah, no, Gwen,
and she is very much a help for him in this. So pros and cons.
It's just gonna have to be good enough.
Yeah, and then so like she finds out he's Spider-Man.
They're up on the rooftop, and you hear something's going on at the Williamsburg.
Well, because even before that, the one guy came to Connors and was like, hey, your stuff works now, cool. Let's start human trials. I'm going to the Veterans Hospital. And Connors is like, no, no, we're not doing that. But then the guy's like, well, I am. Bye.
Yeah, Dr. Connors as like the lizard, as like the villain of the movie. He spends a good majority of the movie being a decent person. He's like, I'm not gonna go straight to human trials because we just did this on a mouse.
So he injects himself, like to be the human trial, and not like veterans.
Literally the Veterans Hospital.
And it works. He gets his arm back, and he's like, woohoo! And then he
wants to stop guy we can't remember the name of
from getting to like the Veterans Hospital and
because
everything.
he's literally going there that night.
But also he's like, I don't know, getting some side effects. So he hops in a taxi. He's like, get me to the bridge where like he knows he is because he called like the secretary or whatever. But he is also turning into the lizard. So the guy is on the bridge and like people start like running, away from a certain direction.
Never a good thing to see.
It's because there's a giant lizard.
Which also, in our current world, our current reality, real world, of like lots of superhero movies, especially universes that have been well established, you have to, in this universe, this isn't normal.
Like giant lizard is not normal. And so the lizard attacks this guy, and he's like making a mess of things, like he's throwing cars off the bridge and everything. And then Spider-Man shows up.
And he's like suspending the cars so that they don't, fall into the water.
But pretty quickly, Connors it starts to like wear off. Yeah. So he just leaves. But then there's Jack specifically in one of the cars that has been suspended over the water. There's a kid. My kid.
Oh, he's a freaking little kid.
Yeah.
So Peter.
And so then we get a very good, given I'm not actually like a Spider-Man fan, but we get what I think is like a very decent, not very decent, like a good like Spider-Man scene, where he saves Jack from the car
that catches on fire.
I feel like this is a scene that people like know and remember. I don't feel like we have to like get into it too much.
Yeah,
because people know the scene.
But it's a very good like transitional scene.
Because before this point, he's been catching criminals, yes, but it's because he's been going after criminals who look like the guy who killed Uncle Ben, in order to find him, and then just like moving on.
That's it. He's not being.
He's not fighting crime. He's just trying to find a guy who happens to have a lot of lookalike criminals.
I guess there's a lot of like kind of shoulder-length blonde hair criminals
in New York.
I'll get out the other baking sheet. But yeah, so after he saves the guy's son and brings him up, and he's
and then the guy who are, thank you for saving my son. Who are you? I'm Spider-Man. Which like that is and then it cuts to the scene of him just sitting on the floor like looking at the mask, and that is the turning point when it's I have great power. Yeah, that's what he.
So that's like the transition from. He's just doing the like finding the guy who killed Uncle Ben to actually being.
But also he needs to find this giant lizard.
Yeah. And how quickly? Whenever he finds out that it's Connors.
Well, I know because he goes to the lab and
Dr. Connors starts acting sus.
And he's sus, and then he sees the lizard rat, and so at that point he puts it together. But I don't know.
Then Peter does what you're supposed to do. He goes to the cops. He tells Captain Stacy, Dr. Connors is turning into a giant lizard. That's what was on the Williamsburg Bridge. Now, Captain Stacy is reasonable.
No,
and he's like,
I don't think that's what is happening. No, which again, understandable that he would think that. This is like up until like.
The events of this movie.
The events of this movie, it has been like real life for these people. So, But then afterwards, he tells someone, he's like, hey, like, can you like look into
even though he was like, Peter, this is kind of you're being weird. He does turn to whatever person he's in charge of to like look into it.
And is it after that he goes to the sewer to?
Yes. So you have the like he starts making a spider web.
He goes into this one part of the sewer and he makes a spider web
because he's
Spider-Man. And so he ends up fighting the lizard a little bit.
And that's when Dr. Connors finds out that he's Peter because he had left. Oh yeah, another little detail. So after the Williamsburg Bridge incident, in the newspaper, there's like a $1,000 reward for proof of the lizard. Yeah. And so Peter, because the Parkers are poor, he brings his camera so he can get pictures of the lizard. However, after the fight, the camera's abandoned. Rest in peace, Peter's camera, because Dr. Connors crushes it.
Yeah. And so then he's like, oh, that's Peter. Why don't I climb up through the sewers into the high school to go kill Peter? I guess. And I mean, yeah, like then you get like the fight at the school,
which I think is a pretty good fight.
Yeah, I think so.
You have the little like nods. I don't know if nods is the right word. Like they end up in a chemistry room, and you see Dr. Connors look for a second at some of the stuff on the table and mix it together. It's like, he's a scientist.
Yeah. Gwen gets some hits him with a trophy and stuff.
Yeah. Also, there's the part where you see Peter like kind of spider crawls around him, which is that's spider.
Yeah, he's doing a spider thing. I like that. I appreciate that.
Yeah. And at this point now, it is like, confirmed. There's a lizard thing.
Yeah.
In New York. You get some like straight up Lord of the Rings Gollum moments of Dr. Connors down in the sewer where he's talking to himself about his like plan to turn everyone in New York into
a world without weakness. I can fix them. I can turn them into giant lizards. And then we'll have a utopia of giant lizard people. Sure. Okay, Dr. Connors.
Yeah. Like I like Dr. Connors. He's not like on the same level or depth as like Harvey Dent, where like the majority of the movie like he's a great guy. He's trying to do good things. Just then something happens and he goes crazy.
I mean, like the serum and like turning into the lizard and everything. Yeah, like it makes him a little crazy. Yeah. So then he gets the idea to use the Denali device that was mentioned earlier in the movie to disperse the lizard transformation serum. Like across New York City to turn everyone into giant lizards. And so he's like, okay, I'm gonna go do that. Yeah. And then Peter finds his little secret lab. And like his plan, and is like, this ain't good. And he sends Gwen to the Oscorp Tower to get the
start cooking the antidote.
And I'm pretty sure he does that just after finding out like about Connors, because then he learns of his plan and is like, oh, he's going for the Denali device, which is at the Oscorp, which is where Gwen is. So Gwen needs to get out of there.
Gwen,
and she's like, no, I need to stay here.
Yeah. Which leads to one of, like, it stands out, I guess, just because it's so different. The musical, the soundtrack moment whenever Gwen is like hiding kind of in the, it's not an air duct, but she's hiding.
It's a closet.
Is it a closet? Because she's like on the floor. She's like,
she is?
Yeah, isn't she?
I always
thought she was like, it's like behind a grating, and she was like, maybe not.
Well, anyway, so she's hiding from the lizard.
You got straight up piano chords.
Yeah, no, like piano scare chord. Yeah. But also she's hiding in there with a lighter and an accelerant.
Yeah, that's like, she's not just hiding, she took something with her to maybe try and fend him off. Again, Gwen's great. Gwen's great.
But the Connors, the lizard, gets the Denali device and leaves, but the antidote has finished cooking. Yippee!
Yay!
But at this point, Peter needs to get to the tower, and he's a little bit ways away.
And at this point, the cops are still on him.
Yeah, they are not a fan of Spider-Man, so they're trying to stop him, and they get him like on the ground, and he takes off his mask, and Captain Stacy is like right there, with a gun to him. But like, oh, it's Peter!
Oh!
And he's like, hey, Like, he's like, the lizard is going to, like...
Also, your daughter Gwen is where the lizard is going to
go. You have to let me go. And Captain Stacy is just kind of like, yeah, all right.
I do really like that scene. Like him,
Mm-hmm.
the way it's shot, the cinematography, the way the Andrew and Dennis Leary, I think is Captain Stacy's actor name. But no, the way it's shot of like after he's got the mask on and he like turns around and you kind of see Captain Stacy saying that it's Peter. I really like that.
Yeah.
The order is given to hold your fire,
but one
person does not.
Yeah, still shoots and injures Peter, Spider-Man, in the leg,
and you get one of my favorite scenes in the movie.
Again,
is it a little?
It's cheesy.
Like,
it's cheesy, but like it's Spider-Man. You know, like people love the Raimi movies, and those are cheese through and through. So like Spider-Man, he's injured now, but like now like the press is on his side and like they're broadcasting and they're like, oh look at Spider-Man, oh but he's injured.
Spider-Man's not looking too good.
Yeah, and the father of Jack, of the boy who saved, knows someone who works with the cranes, so he gets like those crane people to line
up all the cranes
to give
so that Peter can.
So that Spider-Man has a clear path to
swing to Oscorp. And I love that scene.
And that's the one thing, like the one part of the soundtrack where actually just like watching it, I'm like, oh, like listen to that. I like that. Is like this scene and like when Peter he like sees the cranes and you know like he starts walking and he's limping a little bit and then he starts running and like it's choral. Is that like
chorale?
Human voices?
I think that's chorale.
Chorale? Okay. Well, like, because a corral is like where you put like
I think
cows,
it's like CHORALE.
Yeah,
right?
like
that word.
Like an adjective form of like chorus. Like you know, you have like a choir or something like singing, and it's good. And then he
gets to Oscorp, and Gwen had given Captain Stacy the antidote. Captain Stacy gets the antidote to Spider-Man. Spider-Man starts fighting the lizard up
at the top of the tower. And they're fighting, and then Dr. Connors kind of has Spider-Man beaten down, and he says like the meanest, most uncalled for thing ever. He's like, oh, poor Peter, no mother, no father, no uncle. Like
Dr. Connors. Like, okay, I'm blaming it on the lizard juice because Dr. Connors never before has like been that mean.
Yeah. But then Captain Stacy shows up and starts shotgunning the lizard.
Shout out to Captain Stacy. He brought a weapon. He's going at it. And then they kind of big brain the
nitrogen,
like liquid nitrogen to like freeze him. Gives Peter the antidote so Peter can start loading it. Of course, the nitrogen runs out and he pokes Captain Stacy.
Oh yeah, he pokes him straight through the chest. Captain Stacy is down.
Yeah, man down. But Peter manages to switch the antidote in time so the Ganali device. Oh, also, we hadn't mentioned this, but you see before that like people across New York had started
evacuating,
but like also
turn into
Dr. Connors had some like little canisters,
some like SWAT members.
There were some people who had started lizard-fying, which now they're being cured. Yeah. It starts happening to Dr. Connors. Also, again, because you like Dr. Connors, and it's like, oh, it's the lizard juice that kind of makes him crazy. Whenever like Peter's like falling off, and Dr. Connors catches him, and then even when his bad arm like disappears, you know, he uses the other arm, and then he says like, oh, the captain. So he's like showing concern. For the guy
like it was
killed.
Clearly the lizard juice was making him that way, you know, So. So and then Captain Stacy is dying, and he talks with Peter. And, you know, he says some, you know, just like, what does he say other than Gwen thing?
I don't know. That's the point of the conversation. That, like, stay away from Gwen.
Yeah, keep Gwen out of it.
Because it's going to be dangerous.
Because it could, like, get her hurt.
Yeah. Captain Stacy was right. We'll see.
So keep Gwen out of it. He dies. It's sad.
And he does make Peter promise.
He makes him promise. And then it's his funeral.
Yeah. Which Peter does not attend in any official capacity.
Yeah, he's on a rooftop watching you know, and then Gwen shows up to his house, apartment thing, townhouse or whatever.
Like a brownstone or something.
And I mean, and she says like everyone like was there. She said like Flash came.
She mentions that like a couple teachers
came. But she's upset that he didn't, and he's like, I can't. And then she's like, oh, my dad made you promise to leave me out of it, right? And it's like, yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Which I'm also glad there's not like a longer period of like misunderstanding why Peter's not around her. Like she clocks it.
Yeah.
Again, Gwen is not stupid.
Yeah.
Okay, we do not have a whole lot of room, so maybe we're fine. We're fine. Maybe we put one more on here, stick them in, and then we just have to do like a second round, maybe.
Okay.
Cool. You can. The bath is over here if you want to switch over.
Ooh, the bath.
The bath. But then, you know, Aunt May is like, Peter, if there's one thing you are, it's good. It's like, great. And Peter also listens to the voicemail.
Also, this earlier, but after the whole Oscorp lizard thing, Peter gets the eggs.
Peter gets the eggs. Yeah, it's one of the like nicest. And it's like a sweet moment, and like a sweet, funny moment.
Okay, so I bathed it.
Cool. Okay.
Have these been bathed?
Yeah, I put all those have been. Yeah. But Peter listens to the voicemail that Uncle Ben had left the night he died, where he gives him a little speech that's supposed to be like, you know, uplifting, power, responsibility, whatnot. Hello, thank you. Okay, it says 7 to 8 minutes. So we're gonna stick these into the oven for 7 to 8 minutes. We'll see how it goes.
Can you put that on the oven? 7 to 8.
7 to 8. And then at school, you see Peter shows up late to class. And basically, he says something to Gwen where it's supposed to be like, JK,
I won't keep that promise to your dad.
I'm breaking the promise I made to your dead dad. And then it's just him swinging and there's like birds and that's the egg scene.
Yeah, and it's like that was Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, yeah, and it's a good movie.
It's good. It's really solid. I mean, I know it's like origin story, which you know typically when you have origin story, you're gonna like spend 30 to 45, maybe even an hour like on that origin story. You know, so it takes away from like potentially the rest of the movie. But I think it works it in really well with like you know Connors and the lizard and all that, and it's good.
It is.
But
Andrew Garfield, is it as good as The Amazing Spider-Man 2? Fast forward 2 years. It is now 2014. And we're about to lose our minds. So, okay, Amazing Spider-Man 2. Do we have any final thoughts of Spider-Man before we move on to 2?
None that I can
think of.
Yeah, think of right now. Just good, solid movie. That's a good setup. You know, is the stepping stone for The Amazing Spider-Man.
Amazing Spider-Man 2. Okay, now, the very first visual, you put in the DVD, or you plus play on streaming, I guess, if you do that. The first visual of the actual movie is a bunch of gears.
And it zooms out, and they're gears of a watch. Or, you know, like a clock in
Clock that for later.
Clock that.
Clock that for later.
And it's his dad's watch, because we're doing a flashback. You see his dad recording something, and he's like, people will call me a monster. I just wish I had more time. And then you realize that this is concurrent with the like first scene of the first one where Peter is playing hide and seek like with no one or something, whatever. And then,
maybe mom.
Yeah. And so, you know, it's like, okay, so they leave him at like Uncle Ben and Aunt May's. And then we see what they do. They're on like a private plane or something, uploading to Roosevelt, and they're like, this really sucks. This situation sucks. But then a guy, like the co-pilot or something, I don't know, he's evil and like there to kill them. So they get into a fight. The stuff is uploaded to Roosevelt, like whatever that is. And then like the plane crashes, like everyone dies, you know.
Not important.
Not important.
What is important
is the next bit of filmmaking.
Truly life-changing. Brain chemistry altering.
Like, everyone who makes a superhero movie should have to watch the next, like, minute of
The Amazing
Spider-Man 2. So you start out, I mean, you hear, it's a black screen, and you hear
Like
sirens.
You hear sirens. Okay, we're in New York.
Okay, we're in New York. And then, I mean, I'm not sure exactly what happens first, but then the Amazing Spider-Man symbol fades in, and you hear, like, a toll of a bell.
Yeah, like a clock tower.
Like, you know, that kind of, like, gonging sort of.
Yeah.
And then the music
Clock that
starts.
Oh my gosh. So the track. Oh my, truly, oh my gosh. Again, we mentioned earlier, Hans Zimmer, the GOAT, truly understood the assignment.
If you don't know what we're talking about, go on, like, YouTube and look up Amazing Spider-Man, I'm Spider-Man scene, or just, like, I'm Spider-Man is the name of, like, the track. You can also look up just, like, the actual, like, movie scene to see it, like, with the visuals. But the Spider-Man logo, like, fades in to be, like, on the back of his suit.
And like, flying
you see
through
that
the
it's
city.
Spider-Man, he's free-falling into the city as this glorious trumpet bit is playing.
My favorite Spider-Man theme. One of my favorite, like, superhero themes.
And, you know, he's doing Spider-Man stuff. He's swinging around, which also, these movies have the best web swinging. It just, you know, it feels like, you know, just, like, real and, like, adrenaline and, like, the wind and everything. Yeah. And so, he's doing Spider-Man stuff, and, you know, like, what's it today? A Russian guy stealing plutonium.
Why not?
Paul Giamatti.
It's Paul Giamatti.
So he's doing Spider-Man stuff, and, you know, he's joking around, he's rescuing people. But also he's supposed to be at graduation right now.
That's not important. Gwen calls him. A little funny haha that his phone ringtone is the Spider-Man. And as he's on the phone with Gwen, or maybe it's right after he's on the phone with Gwen?
No, he's on the phone with Gwen because he sees him and then he's like, I have to go.
Yeah. You see Peter have a little moment where he, like, sees Captain Stacy in one of the cop cars. And, you know, obviously it's like a, not necessarily hallucination, but, you know.
You understand. And he sees him, like, another time. And you understand that it's Peter's, since he broke his promise to Captain Stacy about keeping Gwen out of it, you understand that it's his guilty conscience kind of, like, manifesting, like, Captain Stacy, like, you know, like, hey, remember what you promised me? But it also kind of, on, like, a more Doyleist sort of sense, feels kind of like an omen for what is to come. Like, either a warning, or just kind of like a sign. Yeah. Like, the difference between those two being, like, whether or not you can change it, which, like, I feel like the movie says you can't.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I feel like in omen of future events.
Yes. You do see, there's also a little, back to haha, you see a Daily Bugle, there's like on the bus, there's like an advertisement for the Daily Bugle, and it's like, oh, that's, that's Spider-Man stuff.
And, you see, and Gwen Stacy starts her valedictorian speech, valedictorian sleigh, and she's talking, and she's like, we're graduating, that's great, but, like, remember to be a good person, and at one point she says, time is luck.
Clock that for later.
And she's talking about, like, I mean, it's inspiring, but she's also like, remember that you'll die one day,
Gwen is like, memento mori.
So, she's given her speech, and you don't hear all of it, because, like, Peter stops Paul Giamatti, and then has to head over to graduation, and gets there just in time, like, right as they're calling his name.
Yeah, they have to call his name twice. He's got his backpack on. And then you kind of have the, like, hee-hee moment, he gets his diploma, he kisses Gwen, and then his high-five is, like, the principal. Funniest guy ever. But then after the graduation, you see Peter sees Captain Stacy again, whenever Gwen's family is, like, trying to take pictures and whatnot. He also... Oh, wait, no, that's a deleted scene. Is it just a deleted scene where you see Flash being like, Gwendolyn?
I think so, but
Oh.
they should have kept it.
Yeah,
in
it's a nice Flash scene
Yeah,
where Flash is being like kind of friendly-ish with Gwen and maybe Peter.
You know, Flash, like, most certainly went to Gwen's funeral.
Oh yeah, definitely. Wait, what are you talking about? Gwen's funeral.
Yeah, so there's that. So, you know, they're graduated now. Yippee! Woohoo!
This is getting incredibly hot. Hold on. We're fine. Now, I don't remember exact order of
those
events.
are thick.
They are thick. For those of you, well, also, do I have toothpicks to like test?
How in the world do you get them to not loaf like that?
Yeah, I mean these don't look as loafy.
They don't.
Loofy. Toothpicks. That's right. At some point, it's during the fight with Rhino, or he's not Rhino, with Paul Giamatti at the beginning. That you meet Max, right? Because he
he saves. So there's this guy with blueprints, and he's walking down the street, and he gets like bumped into people, drops his blueprints. The blueprints blow into the street. You know, it's terrible.
Very
But Spider-Man comes and saves him from an incoming car, and like picks up his blueprints, and is like, hey man, you know, like I can't remember what all he says, but you know, but he's like,
he says, "You're my eyes and ears
you're
out
my
here."
eyes and ears, you know, like
Lick that.
like that. He's like, I need you out here, you know, and then he's like,
Oh yeah, I need you. He does he says,
I need you out here. You're my eyes and ears. And he's like, all right, go get him, pal. And then, you know, he goes off to like finish dealing with Paul Giamatti.
I'm sure that will have no long-term consequences.
Literally, that guy isn't even in the movie after this scene.
Okay, I think we're fine.
But
yeah,
and then you graduation.
You see that Max works at Oscorp. You see BJ Novak. I don't remember what his character's name is. I do know he's a Sagittarius.
Smythe.
Mr. Smythe. You get the vibe, you get the idea that Max is not a valued worker at Oscorp.
Well, because then you see him wake up and like at his house, and he does the whole like talking to Spider-Man
himself as Spider-Man.
And you're kind of like, okay, this not great, but you know, you see, he's a lonely guy.
Yeah. And there's like a deleted scene where you see like his mother. Or something,
yeah,
right?
but based on the fact that that's a deleted scene and like so she's not in the movie at all. Like I don't really think you're supposed to like have that in your I think she got.
Okay, I think we should just spoon it because I don't trust any of these things.
Okay, that works.
We are now going to add a melted butter onto the pretzels we just took out. Also, like, you hear him, I feel like maybe the first time I watched the movie in theaters.
Oh, also, but during this scene where he's like getting ready for his day and talking to himself as Spider-Man, you hear like a clarinet or oboe tune playing a little tune.
That tune won't come back.
Keep that little tune in mind.
Also, whenever you see Max getting ready for his day, you see the visual. You see like a bunch of lights lighting up, kind of old-fashioned looking bulbs. So it's like
the beginning of his day, because like he turns on the lights in his apartment, and you get a lot of close-up shots of the lights turning on. You get a close-up shot of him turning his razor on, a lot of electricity things, and then his power goes out. And then he's at work, and he's like, you're a Sagittarius, he's a Leo, and it's his birthday.
It's his birthday, which is really sad.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, this is definitely skipping. Because he meets Gwen in the elevator, and Gwen is nice to him, which is like not usual, which is sad. Later, this is a couple scenes later. Absolutely like OSHA violation.
So like it's the end of the workday, and everyone's leaving, but then Mr. Smythe, is like, hey, no, Dylan, you gotta go fix this thing over in there. And so he's like, this sucks. And like,
there's an electric
problem. And he goes over there, and there's like a bit of like it's not wiring because it's like more than one wire, but like like a cable is like out of alignment.
Sparking.
Yeah, they're sparking, and he calls the guy and he's like, "Hey, turn off the power in this sector. I need to fix something." And the guy's like, "No, I'm gone." So and like honestly, this is one thing. Like Max, like his life sucks, and you feel sorry for him. At this point, he should have just left because like you do not mess with like cables and stuff while like the power is still on, and like. And one thing he says actually earlier in this scene where he's still talking to Smythe is that he designed the plans for the power grid.
I don't think I caught that the first time watching the movie in theaters. I don't think I like paid any attention to that whenever, because it's just one line. Well, it's like I designed the thing, and then BJ Novak is like, "Sure,
you did." Yeah, but he designed the power grid that Oscorp uses to like now power all of New York. But of course, like they didn't give him credit or like anything, So anyway, there's that. So clearly he's smart, but in this case he decides to just put the cable back in with the power still on, gets electrocuted and falls into a vat of electric eels.
Which I guess he's dead.
Yeah.
At some point also you get the scene that both made us make sounds actually come out of our mouth. You see a car driving up to a fancy house, and you get one of my favorite. The window rolls down,
and who is it? Other than Dane DeHaan, looking incredibly emo.
Hashtag taco selfies with Dane.
Literally, lives were changed.
My life was changed for sure. So I love Dane DeHaan as Harry Osborn.
I like another casting out of the park.
Yes. So basically, as mentioned in, I think we're gonna need more butter. Can you start salting those? As mentioned in the first Spider-Man movie, Norman Osborn is dying, and so you see Harry is going to see his dying father, who has really gross fingernails, and basically Norman tells his son Harry that
you're a failure.
You get. Hold on, I'm gonna melt more butter. We're experiencing some difficulties, but oh well.
Yeah, he's like, "Harry, you're a failure. But also, here's all my research so you don't die from retroviral hyperplasia."
Yeah, this
disease. I never told you. It's genetic.
This disease that apparently the Osborns suffer from.
So
he dies. You see Peter hears that he dies, and you find out that Harry and Peter were friends.
Yeah, they used to be little
ages ago.
Yeah. And so then Harry Is that a meeting? Oh, well, okay, we missed two important scenes. One important scene that happens before Dane DeHaan, and maybe even, I think before Max gets electrocuted, is We Have No Chimney.
Oh my gosh. Iconic. Multi-platinum.
More of Peter's really bad line.
Yeah, but the Andrew's acting as Peter, also like Andrew acting opposite Sally Field when he's in his bedroom, and his face is filthy, and she's like, "Why is your face filthy?" He's like, "I was cleaning the chimney." We have no chimney. What? And then later you have the laundry sheriff.
Laundry sheriff scene. But and then after that we have the Jorge scene, which is another really good, like friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Yeah, where like it's just like a kid, like a little kid, like I don't know, he's like 8 or something. Getting bullied, he has this project, and the kids step on it or whatever. But then Spider-Man shows up, the bullies run away, and then Spider-Man fixes his project a little bit, and he's like you made this? We're like, wow, this is incredible. Like, what's your name? And then he walks the kid home, which that's
neighborhood Spider-Man.
Not to come at anyone too hard, but that scene. Is a better superhero scene than almost any movie the MCU has ever made.
Yeah.
That's superhero stuff.
I say we try these and then deal with putting those on there. Where were we going? Max seen at home, blah blah blah. Taco.
And the kid's name is Jorge.
Oh, yeah. But then Peter and Harry, you get these nice scenes where Peter and Harry are hanging out. You get more like mannerisms and like verbal.
There's because Peter goes to see Harry because he found out his dad was dead. Harry's currently in a meeting and has a few kind of multi-platinum lines. He's eating them up.
Dane DeHaan spends the entire movie slaying. Yeah, because like so now he's in charge of Oscorp. All the like business lawyery people obviously aren't happy. They also I appreciate how much they kind of reference the junk that went on with Dr. Connors in the first movie. They're like, investors are not happy with like what happened with Dr. Connors and the
You mean people don't like how he tried to turn the entire city into giant lizards? Given that.
And so the iconic like it's Mr.
Osborn.
We're not friends.
And then also like slightly iconic like everyone here works for Felicia because Felicia works for me.
Wish that were me.
So anyway, but then he gets a call like there's a Peter Parker here for you, and
he does leave that meeting.
Yeah, he leaves that meeting, and he goes over, and it's kind of like awkward. He's like, "Oh, Peter," and he's like, "Oh, it's been so long. I heard about your dad. I'm sorry." And he's like, "Thank you. I'm like actually in a meeting right now." But then as Peter's going, he's like, "You don't have your braces anymore. There's nothing to distract from your unibrow." And you can
like,
see,
oh, we're back.
Like the Peter's face. It's like he's like gets this smile over him, and he's like, and then it's just like boys being boys.
You see them talking. They talk kind of in reference to like, Peter with Gwen, like what Harry was doing. But the fact like their parents talking about their parents. You have the that's the question. Truly, banger after banger from the Amazing Spider-Man 2. I do think we should pause and we should try these before.
Okay.
So
these are just they're just salt, salt pretzels.
Butter. We put some butter on. We put some salt on. I'm kind of scared. Cheers. Tastes like buttery bread.
Yeah.
Hey, internet, maybe they can tell us. How do you make pretzels taste like pretzels?
Because, like, this recipe is specifically designed to taste like Auntie Anne's. What we made does not. So, like, what's going on here?
It doesn't taste bad. I'm eating it.
But, like...
Anyway.
I don't do complicated.
Yeah. Good for you, Harry.
And then the skipping stone scene. A few other multi-platinum lines.
We don't know.
For sure. Briefcase full of junk.
Yeah, the way he says that. Also, in that conversation, they talk about Spider-Man or woman. We don't know for sure. Peter says like, "Oh, I like to think that Spider-Man like gives people hope, or that hope that eventually everything will be all right." And Harry says, "I wish I had time for eventually," which is in reference to he knows that he's dying, but also time.
I wish I had time.
Yeah. You get kind of not montage, but the idea that summer is going on and it has now been a while. Because then I think you get.
Because we get a few like Peter stalking Gwen.
But then Gwen calls him.
Because we totally forgot at the beginning of the movie. I think like as like a graduation dinner, Gwen is eating with her family at in a Chinese restaurant, and Peter's supposed to be there, but then he like kind of just hangs outside, and she's like, "What's going on?" And he's like, "I feel really guilty about breaking the promise to your father." And she's like, "Okay, well, we're breaking up. I'm breaking up with you. If you keep doing this." So they're broken up now, but of course Peter is like... Yeah.
But then Gwen calls him to like hang out and be like, "Hey, we can be friends." They have a cute little scene where they're talking to each other,
Some say love.
No, him walking across the street. Like they're going forward and then back. And like when he stops the truck.
And interspersed with this is... Max waking up in like the morgue, but he's not dead, but he is also blue now.
He's now blue and electric.
And has electric powers. So he kind of, he shuffles out of there. He's like eating electricity from nearby things. And where does he go other than Times Square?
What's the most electric part of New York? Times Square. So whenever Peter and Gwen are on their little not date, obviously he senses. You get. Also, I like the little sound effect that they give to his spidey sense. And so he takes off for Times Square, and I do again kind of same deal with Dr. Connors in the first movie. Okay, Dr. Connors, Electro, like Max, and Harry. None of them are like.
They don't start out
villains
sucky.
or starting out villains. Like Electro, he is freaked out by what's going on, and like whenever they're in Times Square, and like whenever Spider-Man eventually arrives, there's like conversation of like, hey, what's going on?
Because then like there's Peter heads over to Times Square because Electro is like sucking the electricity out of something, and like the cops show up and they're
I understand if you see some rando
like with his hands in
in the grating
underground cables.
I get that. Okay, maybe you should.
And they're like put their hands up, and he's like, he's not Electro is not attacking anyone. He was just having a snack. And then but like the cops like try shooting at him, but like he electrifies the bullets away. But he is not.
Do you want to bath those?
He is not like being like aggressive at all.
And like they get really close once Spider-Man does arrive and he starts talking to them.
Because Spider-Man shows up, and Spider-Man is kind of like acting like Electro is antagonistic, but like because I get he just assumes. But then when Electro starts being like, hey, like, oh my gosh, like Spider-Man, like we know each other, like you helped me in the street, like I had blueprints. Well, no, he doesn't say that, but like Spider-Man's, oh, the guy with the blueprints, oh, what's your name? Like Max, is it Max? Yeah, and so Spider-Man, once he recognizes that, like, oh, it's this guy, like I saved, and like also he like he understands that he's not like actually like doing anything. And
Peter is also seeing that like when Electro steps, he's getting near the water. So there's also like kind of calming down, and they do get really close to like calming.
And he tells like the cops like no one shoots at Max, and and so like he is like de-escalating.
But then Max like steps either like onto the grate or into the water, so some sparks fly, which then like a sniper guy shoots at him, and that of course escalates and erupts into a whole fight. I do shout out
because also a little bit before this, when Electro was just like sort of like being like attacked by the cops for not doing anything, some film crew was filming him, and then they show like the footage on all of the screens on Times Square. So he's like looking around, and it's just like his face and all these screens, and he's not like pleased with it. He's not happy, but he's like noticing like that's me. Like, oh my gosh, like everyone can like see me,
Very
like
much an earlier thing. Whenever before he was Electro, it was like nobody cares about Max. No one's looking at Max, whatnot. But now everyone is looking at him. Everyone can see him.
Yeah, because also like after his accident, but before he's like woken up as Electro, Mencken, who's he's Fiore.
Yeah, he's Oscorp
guy, and like his Giga Chad goon, are like, oh, there was this like accident, and now this guy's dead, and Mencken is like, well, cover it up, and the guy says like, oh, like he has no friends, no family, he's invisible, like he was invisible, and Mencken is like, well, keep it that way. So like there's that.
So back to the Times Square.
Also, we have throughout Electro scenes, we've been getting a little bit of that like clarinet or oboe like tune.
I think it's
clarinet. Okay. But after like the cop shoots at him, and then Spider-Man has to go and save some people. Which I like the part where it slows down, almost like stops time to like show like the people on the stairs and like the electricity, like where it's gonna go, and like who's like got their hand near the railing, and then it shows you like Electro like his electric attacks like mess up Spider-Man's web shooters. So one of them is busted, but the other one is good. And so it like goes through all of that, like in a sort of stop time thing. And then it goes back to like Spider-Man and like how he deals with it, and he like saves everyone. And it's like,
Quicksilver who?
What?
I said Quicksilver who?
Oh, yeah. And so he saves everyone. Yay. And then the film crews like switch to Spider-Man, and so instead of Electro on all the boards, it's Spider-Man, and that makes Electro mad because now he feels like Spider-Man like betrayed him because he still got shot at, and like now the boards are all showing Spider-Man, so he does get angry at this, and then we have the soundtrack.
One of my favorite my favorite Electro musical moments.
Yeah, and we're getting more of the like electro music, but also the voices.
Yes.
Like the little chanting, which is obviously representative of the thoughts going through Max's head. He lied to me. Like they shot at me. Now they're all my enemy. And he goes Insano style, Electro Insano style.
No, but the whenever like everything in the area goes dark and then it lights up and the music drops.
Yeah, and like boards
really
are like falling down. It's very cinematic,
yes.
Yeah. I called that electro dubstep.
Did I say anything about that? I said, the electro theme drop when Times Square goes dark and then lights up.
Yeah, so now he's like shooting people with electricity.
But then FDNY featuring Spider-Man, they like shoot him with a bunch of water.
Like they've got like a fire hose and they like splash him, and then you see it's Spider-Man. He's got the helmet on and he like knows the firefighters. He's calling them
Big
by
John,
name.
Mike.
Yeah.
Which is again, it's a nice little add-in of like friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
So
Max not dead, but he's like down, and he will be taken care of somewhere. Then we kind of transition back to drama, like Peter Gwen. Like, because Electro's like, let's just take care of.
Oh, right, because before the Electro Times Square thing, when they were, like, ground rules and all that, sort of, like, getting back together a little bit, Gwen was like, I'm moving to England. I have an interview for, like, a scholarship at Oxford.
Just making you aware of how long it is. Which is fine.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
For an interview at Oxford, and if I get in, I'm going to England. And it's like,
well, shoot.
Yeah, so, but then, like, Electro happens.
So, yeah, they don't really finish that conversation.
Yeah.
Peter kind of, not emo, but you see, he puts on his headphones and he goes into bed, listening to Now, Gone, Gone, Gone by Philip Phillips. Then you have Harry. So it's like, okay, now that Elektra's kind of taken care of for the plot for the moment, you have Harry, when his father gave him, like, the funky USB thingy. What is that face for?
I'm reading one of my notes. I don't know what it refers to.
The next thing I have written down is hints at Goblin theme when Harry finds files. So, like, he starts looking at the file thing that his father gave him.
Yeah, and, while he's doing that, there's, like, a two-note, like, there are two, like, long notes. It's like, well, I can't really, that was bad, but, like, I can't really do it.
Apologies to everyone at home.
But it's, like, two notes that, it's like the Goblin theme, but, like, right now they're just playing these, like, two notes, but it's distinctive.
Because he's not Goblin. He's
not Goblin yet, but, like, this is part of his path to becoming Goblin, so it, like, plays this little bit.
And so you find that, like, Harry's looking into what was going on with some Oscorp stuff. I also have that written down. Oh, I think that's later. So you have Harry investigating this like special project. Well, he doesn't know it's special project yet because Felicia tells him that later.
Yeah. But he's just looking at files. And is this when he finds the Electro? No, it's not. No, because he just pulls up the glider suit. But it's not when he's looking at the files, because it's not when he's kicked out yet, I don't think.
Yeah. I have Peter has Roosevelt, Harry has special projects. So during parts of the movie, both Harry and Peter are like investigating things done by their parents, like kind of secret-y experiment project stuff.
And Peter does a little science experiment because like Electro messed with his web shooter, so he's trying to figure out how to like deal with that, so he just like starts using batteries and like electrifying things, and he doesn't get anywhere. But it's a fun little scene.
It is a fun little scene. It shows him being, even though he doesn't figure it out, it does show him like being smart and trying to problem solve. Then you have like the funny scene of he's like in the roof part when Harry calls him to come talk, and Harry tells him like, I'm dying. I got goblin disease.
Yeah. And but now he's like,
oh, but so before Harry had big brained. Shout out Harry Osborn. No one here is dumb. No one in these movies is dumb. Because Harry had put together. He was looking at this video that had his father and Peter's father talking about one of the projects involving the spiders, and so Harry puts it together. Harry literally just came back to New York City, and he has already put it together that Spider-Man was bitten by one of Oscorp's spiders.
Mm-hmm.
So he big brains that.
And he thinks that like the spider venom, like Spider-Man's blood, or like otherwise just like the spider venom, but like all those spiders have been killed. So
as part of, again, another
restoring investor confidence after like the Connors thing is that Oscorp has like destroyed all their like radioactive animal programs. So Harry thinks he needs Spider-Man's blood in order to get that like healing capability that will cure him of goblin disease.
So he calls up Peter. Okay, Harry is smart except for the implication is like, oh, Peter took a photo of Spider-Man.
You know him.
Peter must know Spider-Man and know where he is. That's not how that works. Whatever. He's dying and getting desperate.
When did you interview Superman? After the...
Hold on, I'm melting more butter.
Yeah, we're kind of using all your butter.
So Peter does kind of shut him down with saying, like, I don't know who Spider-Man is, whatever.
Because, I mean... Peter is Spider-Man, but he thinks that if he gives Harry his blood, like it could kill him or something.
Because he knows what happened to Dr. Connors a couple months ago.
So he does not want to, do that to Harry. But Harry, is really dead set on this because he's dying.
Meanwhile, so while Harry is figuring that stuff out, Gwen is looking into Max. Because Max identified himself like as Max in the Electro fight.
Right, yeah.
And Gwen had previously met Max. So you see her at Oscorp, and she like looks in the Oscorp database.
That's what that means. When Peter distracts the guys.
But Gwen finds that when she looks up Max in the system, it's like locked out, restricted search. And so she's immediately like, oh, I'm onto something I'm not supposed to be on. So,
and then Giga Chad and others tried to like find her to, I don't know, take her to the, take her to the ice house or something, but so she's like running away from them, and Peter is also leaving the building after having talked with Harry, and they run into each other, and she pulls him into a closet, and she's like, hey, so Max was like the, like Electro guy last night, and like he got into an accident at Oscorp, and they're covering it up, and Peter's like, Harry wants me to give him Spider-Man's blood, but like it could do something really bad, and I don't want to do that. And then they talk about like England just for a second.
Yeah. But then Peter is like, okay, I'll distract the guys so you can make your little escape.
And it's another wonderful scene of Peter's distraction. Like he uses his Spidey skills to like do like Looney Tunes sort of stuff to these guys, and it's a fun scene. And Gwen gets away, Peter gets away, and then Gwen ends up in the elevator with Harry, and they just have like a kind of awkward conversation.
But now Harry like has met Gwen,
which is important. And like it is like kind of awkward, and like Harry is very much emo, but he's not giving evil. He's he's in
a bad mood, which I think is understandable. Right. That's that. I have written down Mencken guy is real villain.
Oh, well, because he kind of is, because he caused both like the Electro thing and
the Harry problem.
problem.
Yeah, Harry starts looking into special projects, or he starts. Mencken kicks Harry out of Oscorp.
Well, but before that, we get Electro at Ravencroft with
Dr.
Kafka. Kind of slaying like a little bit and like
kind of a crazy
doing like evil scientist experiments on Electro, and Electro is like I'm gonna turn out the lights, and a little bit like
He's
villain
giving his little
speech.
verbal
And
manifesto.
and then that's when he calls himself Electro.
Yeah.
So he's there, and then Harry
finds
it's like updated 1 hour ago, and he opens up and he finds like the videos and everything, and then his access gets restricted. Mencken comes in and is like, oh my gosh, a guy died under like your stuff, and you cover it up, and Harry's like, no, you did that.
No,
but all the thing is that they're blaming it on Harry in order to like get him
Harry out.
Yeah, get him out of the company. And Harry, to his credit, is pretty upset
he's
that like
you're experimenting on people
like
Ravencroft.
yeah,
That's
like
not
he is
cool.
he is
Once
yeah like
again,
not
like,
a bad guy.
You're right.
But they throw him out of Oscorp. Yeah. So again, another bad thing for Harry.
Yeah, Harry has it rough.
And then we get the
He doesn't
Sally
immediately
Field Oscar worthy scene where Peter asks Aunt May about like his parents, and she explains like these government guys came and said that they were like traitors who gave like the science like data for money, etc. And then she gives like an Oscar worthy monologue.
And I like the way she delivers the like, your stupid non-scientific aunt. It's like, no, you're my boy. Like, it is. It's a very
good scene.
And I do think again, her and Andrew Garfield have really good, like, I guess, screen chemistry in that sense. But she says something. But same ratty lab coat and the same D train to work every day. So later, whenever Peter is like not throwing a fit, but because he's now like, oh dang, my parents actually sucked or whatever, and he throws that calculator from the first movie against the wall, and it explodes, and you see a bunch of coins come out. Again, the coins that you saw in the first movie, and it's like, hold up, D train. And so Peter goes to investigate. He looks up. Yes.
I'm sorry. We skipped over when Spider-Man comes to see Harry, and basically says the same thing, like, "Hey, I don't think I can give you my blood. It might not end well." But Harry's like upset. And another thing that like, on the one hand, it makes sense for just like who Harry is like in the world. On the other hand, not that it's like bad characterization. Like it's not like part of the rest of his character. But when he's like, "How much do you want?" And Spider-Man's like, "I don't want your money." He's like, everybody wants my money. I mean, that, like, his money, like, doesn't come into play, like, anywhere else, like, in the movie. But I think it's understood, like, he's a rich kid. Yeah. But so at the same time, he is like,
And then Harry throws a little fit.
But, you're a fraud, Spider-Man!
But yeah, so, I can't remember at what point. Where did Peter learn the term Roosevelt? Because he Googles, like, subway plus Roosevelt plus D-train. Is it written somewhere, like, in the... I don't remember where Peter learns the word Roosevelt. Anyway, he like, does some not Googling. Shout out Bing from the first movie. Where he looks up, and he finds the, like, secret subway station to hide President Roosevelt's polio. He goes urban exploring, finds the abandoned station, puts the coin in. And then you have a cool, pretty musical moment. Whenever the subway tracks
open up and the thing comes up. Yeah. And it's a good musical
moment. And so
moment.
it's like, it's his dad's secret lab, and the file that at the very beginning of the movie, when the Parkers were on the plane trying to send that file to Roosevelt, it's here. So now the video's downloaded. Peter watches that video that his father had been recording.
And in the video, his father explains, like, I was doing these things with the spiders. That was cool, except when like Oscorp wanted to like take the technology and use it for nefarious means, and I wasn't okay with that. But then they just like sort of kicked me out, so I destroyed everything in order to keep them from it, and now I have to go on the run.
And also, he mentioned specifically that the experiments were run with his own DNA.
So it wouldn't work with like anyone else. Like, obviously Peter being his son, like, that's compatible. But like, for instance,
with Dr.
Harry,
or with Harry,
it wouldn't work. And then he's like, and I have to leave my son behind, and that like breaks my heart. I'm not a bad person. I'm not like, you know, you understand.
Yeah.
And then at the end, it like matches up with him at the very beginning when he's like, I always thought I'd have more time. And then like video ends, and so Peter's like, my parents weren't bad people.
Now, so that's going on. Harry, now aware that like, they were experimenting on people in Ravencroft.
Also, note, when Spider-Man shows up to talk to Harry about the blood, he does at one point say like, we just need more time, but Harry's like, I don't have time. So just like more time.
So Harry shows up to Ravencroft. He's like,
he's kind of very slay breaking into Ravencroft.
Yeah, they don't immediately let him in. They like take him to like kind of a supervisory guy to be like, hey, this guy. Harry then like tasers them and gets in.
And he's got like
sneaks around in like a Dr. Scientist outfit to get into the Electro room.
And he's like, hey, Electro.
He's like, well, team up, which I really enjoy their conversation, and also like later whenever they're both at Oscorp, I was like, actually, team up slay. I was like, Harry and Electro, I actually love that.
Because one thing that Harry says, he says, first of all, he's like, you need me to get out of here, and I need you to get into Oscorp. Because now Harry is going after the spider venom that Oscorp kept after they killed the spiders.
Because
Felicia told him.
Shout out Felicia.
So like so he's like, and I need you to get into Oscorp. And that's one thing he says, like, I need you, which like is really rings with like Electro. Like that's
especially like earlier whenever Spider-Man had
said
been
like, I need you. And then
so he had that taser, and like tasing Electro kind of manages to like
power him up
to.
And so Electro busts them out of there. And then at one point, so he's like, are we friends? Like, he says something about friends, and Harry's like, I thought we already were.
And it's kind of Harry's jacket too.
Yeah.
And it's got like, it looks
Harry,
like Black
Dane DeHaan as Harry Osborn slowly dying from goblin disease looks really good.
Unmatched. Truly. Gosh, shout out Dane DeHaan.
Yeah. And I really like, I guess, like the way he delivers and like acts everything. The line when when he's like, I need your help to get into Oscorp, Electro's like, you own the place, and he's like, nah, actually they kicked me out, so we were both betrayed, or something like that. I like the way he delivers it.
So Harry and Electro break into Oscorp. Electro fries a couple people. They're like interrogating Mencken about where
special projects
and the venom is. And so Harry at gunpoint is gonna have Mencken take him down, and he's like, okay, Electro, you're do whatever you want, bud.
The grid is yours.
The grid is yours.
Because that's another thing, that now Electro is taking back his grid design, because it was his design, and now as an electric person he can like get into it and like control it. So he blacks out the whole place, but earlier,
because we have more multi-platinum lines.
Well, this happens a little bit earlier than them breaking into Oscorp.
Gwen is going. Oh, because this is before he even finds out that his parents are good again.
Yeah, because he goes to her being like,
before Peter finds Roosevelt, him swinging into the scene and kind of hitting the wall is hilarious. Gwen's going to an interview for Oxford, and Peter and Gwen's whole conversation in like that building, his acting again, they're like,
he's frazzled.
Yeah. And then whenever he realizes where they are,
he's like, he's like, go nuts. So like, I don't know anything. And then he's like, where are we? And you see all the Harvard, Oxford flags. And then he's like, turns to the lady at the desk. Who am I? I'm John Hopkins. I'm one of the young professors at Harvard, and I've been trying to get her on our team. So God save the Queen. Like, again, wonderful acting by Andrew Garfield. Multi-platinum lines. Like, yeah.
So then he does the Roosevelt thing. And whenever he comes out of the subway station, Gwen has a voicemail where he's like, I made it, and there's a summer program, and apparently I'm leaving today. And so she's on a plane, or she's about to get on a plane.
Yeah, she's on a taxi on the way to the airport. And he uses his webs to spell "I love you" in like bridge scaffolding, and she sees it,
like,
and then they go and stand on top of a bridge, and he's like, "I will move to England with you."
Yeah.
Yay!
Yay! We're gonna live happily ever after. However, while they are up there on the bridge, that's when the power goes out.
Yeah, when Electro like cuts the power to the city, and they're like, "Ooh."
Ooh. And he's like, oh, every time I get near him, he fries my web shooters. And Gwen is like, have you tried magnetizing them? And he's like,
no.
So again, Gwen, big braining. And so also you see chaos start to ensue in the city. You see like subways are shutting down. There's not evacuation, but it's a lot of people.
Yeah, I like that one cop is saying like stay in your homes, you know, but like people are kind of like freaking out and like running rampant. There's the like airport like loses technology,
the air control,
so they can't talk to the pilots, and also like they don't have any of their stuff to know like what's going on. And
he does say clock it.
Yeah,
like,
I know. Because one air pilot control person is like, we have 2 planes on an intercepting route. He's like, time till like impact or whatever, like 4 minutes, and he says, clock it.
Clock that.
Clock it.
And you also have the hospital where
Aunt May is doing rounds
power.
and lose power.
So you get the like, ooh, power out is bad. You know?
Yeah, like it's not just like, oh, we don't have lights, you know, but like stuff is not working that needs to be working.
Yeah.
So they go and get they use a car battery.
Yeah, they use like a cop car battery
to magnetize his web shooters.
Big brain.
And so he's like, all right, I'm going to the power station now, and you're not coming with me. And she's like, I am coming with you. And he's like, okay, close that. And sticks her hand to the car so she can't come with him.
Yeah. He goes towards the power. Now, whenever he originally goes over to the power, he lands on a clock tower. That won't be important later. But then, he's going to go into this fight with Electro. Now, I think before, maybe it's partway through the fight, it does go over the scene back to Harry. Harry at Oscorp with Mencken took him down to, it's like, you know, secret floor with a bunch of special projects where you see the glider, you see Doc Ock tentacles, right? I think
maybe
you do then.
Because
I think you don't see the vulture wings until the scene later.
Yeah. Harry's like, what is this stuff? And Mencken goes, the future, which
rest in peace.
R.I.P. the Sinister Six movie and the 2 Amazing Spider-Man 3 and 4. So they get the spider venom, and Harry's like,
also to note, whenever they go down to the special projects, everything is backlit with green. Yeah. If you are in the Spider-Man universe, green equals bad. Lizard, green. Harry, green. Oscorp, green. It's all green.
Yeah. Like green.
Green's bad.
For Spider-Man, green is villain color.
So he makes Mencken like inject the venom in, and then
it doesn't really work. He starts turning into Goblin, and that's when we get like Goblin music. Because a few other times you've gotten like just like sort of the 2 notes like ooh Goblin, but now it's like this is Goblin time.
The equivalent to at the Times Square fight, whenever all the lights go out and then they come back on with the Electro drop. Whenever Harry, he's like writhing on the floor, he's like ripping at his shirt. You see his like shoulder blades do an incredibly gross movement.
He's turning into Goblin.
And his fingers, and he's like crawling on the floor, and you see him crawling towards the glider. And so it's like same thing of like whenever the music
he like gets into like the suit, and is it like a drum beat? Because it's like a beat,
I think it's like a bass.
A bass.
Beat. Again, Hans Zimmer understood the assignment. And of course, all the themes are called I'm Goblin, I'm Electro.
So this is I'm Goblin, and we've had I'm Electro, and of course I'm Spider-Man, which plays at the beginning.
So we're gonna leave Harry be. He's just gonna be with his glider.
Yeah. So forget about that. We're at the power station. We're fighting Electro. I mean, it's a lot of like fighting, action.
And then Gwen hits Electro with a car, which again I appreciate Gwen not sitting back and like whatever, like she's trying to do stuff, and she makes the point of like, oh, I've seen the specs, I know how to do it. She's the one who knows about like the reset.
And because one thing that they want to do is like reset the power station. And one thing that she says that like I hope this doesn't matter in the next 20 minutes is she keeps repeating like it's my choice. Like Peter told her to stay behind and then like webbed her to the car. But like no, she's coming and she's helping out. Like this is my choice. I really hope that doesn't matter at all.
So they do manage to like reset. Also, at one point, Electro plays Itsy Bitsy Spider
on the
electric things.
pole things.
It's like haha.
Yeah.
But then they manage to do the reset and basically overload Electro's human battery.
One thing that when Peter was messing with the batteries and like his web shooters is like the batteries would explode when they got, too charged up. And so like now he's like, Electro is basically like a battery, so if we just overload him, he'll explode. Yeah. And that is what happens.
That is what they do. And so you see the little
because at Ravencroft he got like a power level, like your phone's battery percent sort of thing.
Yay, Electro's taken care of. The end.
Yeah, the end. Actually, the movie ends here.
And that's where The Amazing Spider-Man 2 ends. No, you hear some little ha-ha.
You hear some goblin laughing. And one thing also, the suit and the glider look cool, and also like I want a glider. Like it just like just like gliding around like
so Harry, who's now a goblin. He goes over and he's like, "Ooh, Spider-Man, you didn't blah blah blah." And then he sees that Gwen is also there. Harry puts the pieces together as he is wont to do, and immediately figures out that Spider-Man is in fact Peter. And because he hates Peter and Spider-Man.
When you said Spider-Man said no, you meant you said no. Which, it's a little ridiculous, but you can understand that Harry, given they haven't talked in, they said 8 years, but, Peter was, Harry's only friend then and now, and also he was dying, so, it hurts his feelings that Peter didn't, was let's not do this.
Yeah.
So he is upset, and he's like, now I'm gonna kill your girlfriend.
Yeah, so he takes Gwen, takes her on a little ride. He does, Peter's, chasing him around. He does drop Gwen pretty soon.
Into the clock tower, because the power station also has a clock tower.
Yeah. Sure. And so, of course, Peter catches her and they fall through. So now they're inside the clock tower. Lots of gears, lots of big gears, moving parts. So now the fight has moved to inside the clock tower. You see the little, not pumpkin bomb that Harry drops. And so you see Gwen kind of falls onto a platform.
She's trying to kind of get around on, these gears and stuff.
And then at one point she's, kind of fallen, but Peter... I feel like we're really explaining this scene. Well, it's important. Yeah, so basically it comes to Gwen is hanging on to a web while Peter and Harry are fighting. Peter, because of what's going on with the gears, he's trying to stop the gears.
Because she's attached to this web that's on a gear, but as the clock keeps going and the gears intercept, the gears are gonna cut the web when it intercepts. So Peter puts his foot in a gear to
keep it from moving.
Keep it from moving. There's a word for that, I can't remember. Yeah. And while he's fighting,
so Peter is trying to stop time, you might say.
Perchance. Harry gets knocked out very quickly after this.
Whatever.
It's a short fight scene.
It is. When we were watching, I realized I was like, oh, that is a pretty short fight scene. Anyway, Harry gets knocked out. However, the gears do move and cuts the web that Gwen is hanging on, and she starts to drop.
And then you get this slow-mo scene of her falling with, and all the
also a good musical and visual moment.
Yeah.
And
do we have to explain this?
Is the song called "Let Her Go"?
Let Her Go. Yeah.
I will the little whenever Peter shoots the web at her, the web kind of looks like a hand reaching out at her. Again, the music by Hans Zimmer, great. And it doesn't quite work out. Yeah. Rest in peace, Gwen Stacy. I will say, with something I noted with this, Andrew's acting whenever he's got her and she's dead and he's holding her. I was like, yeah, that's really
it's really good. He's really devastated and crying and it's a little bit ugly, because
it also made me think of whenever Uncle Ben dies, that I believe Andrew's acting, and then I also really at the end of Amazing Spider-Man 1 whenever Captain Stacy dies, the way he's kind of hunched over and just screams. I was like, that's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, rest in peace, Gwen Stacy.
So Gwen Stacy is dead.
The Stacy family,
and it's horrible.
They're having a rough year.
Yeah, the Stacy family, I only wish the best for them, but Wolf, that's
So you get like a Gwen funeral, big sad. You see not Andrew, Peter being sad at her grave for like
it goes
months.
like
it goes
summer,
through the seasons.
fall, winter.
He's being sad, and you hear like on the news that like Spider-Man hasn't been seen. So you get the like, oh, Peter's not
and then
doing that.
He has a conversation with Aunt May where she's talking about like putting away Uncle Ben's things, and she's I'm gonna take one last look and then I'm gonna put it where it belongs. And then we have Harry in Ravencroft, being visited by some guy with like a fedora. We know this is fierce, but like you don't really know who this is. And Harry's like, okay, so I'm putting together a group of supervillains. Basically, it's what he says.
It's the laying out.
Yeah, and then Fierce is like, I have one guy in mind already. And then you see Fierce walking past.
You see the vulture wings, the Doc Ock tentacles,
and then the rhino suit.
Before we move on, though, like we mentioned it earlier, the Peter seeing Captain Stacy that at the power station
when he's still fighting Electro, but Gwen has gone there and hit him with the police car. But now she's like up in the station. He sees Stacy
and it has
like
a
one
slow,
last time, like a slow mo, and then he gets like attacked by Electro.
Again, that,
and
like,
also that's the third time he sees Stacy, which. Rule of three. The third time he sees him is like when her death is imminent.
Okay, and then he has that talk with Aunt May where he kind of, they're talking, and then you see the rhino. You got
and then
Paul
Giamatti in a rhinoceros machine.
He's tearing it. He like broke into a bank. It's literally just like a bank. And you see Jorge.
Hey. The kid that Spider-Man saved from bullies. He's got his Spider-Man costume on, and he runs out in front of Rhino.
And not great.
To Rhino's credit,
he doesn't shoot the kid.
He doesn't immediately shoot the kid. I'm not sure how long that would have lasted, but he doesn't.
He doesn't just immediately shoot that little kid. And it's like, oh no, of course the mom of the kid is like freaking out, but she's being held back by the police officers. But then you see, you like hear kind of it, and you see people's faces. And then
Spider-Man's
there.
He's like, hey kid, like thanks for
stepping in
for me. Now why don't you go back to your mom?
Gives him a little fist bump.
And then he's like, hey Rhino. Stop that. And then Paul Giamatti is like, I'll kill you, Spider, I crush you, and then like they're gonna fight Spider-Man, get a manhole cover, right? He webs a manhole cover. I'm not really sure how much that is gonna do against
those missiles.
You
do have another thing I want to mention. Whenever he's like talking to Rhino on the megaphone, is he's back into the little quips.
He's
like put your mechanized paws in the air.
And then you're that Spider guy starts playing, and it's credits. Woo! And you got that beat.
In the track, if you like buy the actual soundtrack or whatever, it has You're That Spider Guy and It's On Again as two separate tracks. In the movie, they're played together, and it is great.
Yeah, I mean, you get You're That Spider Guy for a little bit, and then they bring it. They put in It's On Again, but like still on top of that. But but in the soundtrack, they're two separate songs. But yeah, like the credits, because it's showing you like schematics, and then towards the end, it shows you like Vulture's wings and the Doc Ock tentacles, and that one mask that we think is supposed to be like Mysterio or something. R.I.P. the Sinister Six.
Some of my favorite end credits, or Amazing Spider-Man 2 end credits, with the music, the schematics, fantastic.
Also, I just because it's like Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Oh my gosh, we saw this three times in theaters in 2014. We were in the trenches for that movie.
I mean, I have been in the trenches for Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man since 2014, not necessarily 2012. People weren't really like hating on it like the first one, really. But yeah, since 2014, I've been in the trenches for Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. And yes, I'm glad that he got like No Way Home and people appreciate him now. Yeah. But like, you weren't there. You were not defending him when I was.
Yeah.
I liked these movies before it was cool.
Yeah.
I know Amazing Spider-Man 2 my favorite
one of the best
Spider-Man
superhero movies.
Yeah, and my favorite Spider-Man movie, I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah, definitely my favorite Spider-Man movie. One of my definitely in top 10 favorite superhero movies, regardless of universe. Maybe top 5, maybe. Yeah.
This movie brings me so much joy.
And I can't emphasize enough, the Amazing Spider-Man 2 soundtrack
is really good. But also, like we said multiple times in this, but like just like bringing it around, the theme of time, specifically running out of time, thinking you'd have more or wanting more time, that ultimately culminates in Peter literally trying to stop time, like stop the gears of the clock before Gwen dies. Yeah. So there's that. It certainly had a theme that it really was, you were gonna know. It was gonna tell you that the time. Oh, and by the way, like the planes missed each other. When they turned the power back on, the planes were fine, the hospital was fine. Yeah, everything's taken care of.
And so 2014, truly the last year of good superhero movies, in my opinion. Because Winter Soldier also came out.
Oh, okay. I was like, what's the other year?
Yeah. So, that being said, back to our pretzels that we ate a little bit of. How many spiders would you give these pretzels?
6 out of 10 spiders.
I was gonna say like 5 out of 10.
They're like good, but they are not soft pretzels. You know, like again with the goal of like like in sort of Auntie Anne's kind of thing. These are nowhere close.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Alas. Oh well. Well, I guess we're gonna wrap it up. And as we clean up, we're gonna listen to the Amazing Spider-Man 2 soundtrack. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Andrew Garfield. Thank you, Mark Webb.
Thank you, Dane Dog.